Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So buying new lenses for your camera can be a very difficult decision. If you take good care of them, they can last a lifetime. And some people would argue that lenses are actually more important than the camera body itself. Bodies come and go, but lenses stay forever. In this video I'm going to compare a cheap third-party Viltrox prime lens to a couple of Fuji Zoom lenses to help you decide what to spend your hard-earned cash on. So we will look at the main differences such as price, low light performance, background separation, image quality, minimum focusing distance, and the ability to able to change focal length, in other words zooming in and out. Our prime lens competitor is the Viltrox 23mm f1.4, currently sitting on the camera itself, recording these shots and also the talking head shots the video started with. And then our zoom lenses is the 18-55. It's exactly the same size as the Viltrox when it's not zoomed out. And then also the 16-80mm, both of them are original Fuji lenses. So first of all, let's start with the price. Generally, prime lenses are cheaper than zoom lenses, especially if you're looking at a fast zoom lens, meaning one that has a wide aperture like f2.8. So we have the Viltrox 23mm with an f1.4 aperture, and this is an autofocusing prime, brand new, coming in at £260 in the UK. I have just checked these prices right now, versus the Fuji 18-55 autofocus zoom lens at £620 on sale at the moment, and then the 16-80mm at £670 also on sale in the UK. So let's check the low light performance. I did 4 things here. First of all, I reduced the softbox light to 1% from 100%. I pulled the blinds over at the back so it's completely dark, blocking out the natural light. I also reduced the green light, ambient light to minimum, so that's 1% as well. And then I took the ND filters off the Viltrox. And now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab my X-T3, I'll put the zoom lenses on, set the exact same focal length, 23mm, exact same ISO 640, shutter speed at 48, the same film simulation as well. The only difference is the aperture. I'm gonna do the widest aperture on all 3 lenses and see what they can do. There you go, all 3 lenses are on autofocusing mode. We're shooting at the same settings except the aperture. The aperture is the widest on all of them, but everything else is the same, shutter speed and the ISO and the focal length. You can look at the image quality differences in the darkness and what the low light performance is. 18-55 at f2.8 at 18mm, 2000 ISO and 48 shutter speed. I keep the shutter speed 48 on all 3 cameras and the lowest aperture as well. Now we're going to figure out the differences in background separation. And of course you would think prime lenses have a huge advantage here because they have a wider aperture obviously. Well, in order to figure this out, I'm going to shoot in 2 different scenarios. First, I'll shoot at 23mm in all 3 lenses, and of course prime will win that, you know, because it has a wider aperture. But then, with the zoom lenses, don't forget, you can zoom in, and then that gives you a narrower field of view, which will create more shallower depth of field. So we'll compare that to the primes, and then see what they look like. So yeah, let's do it. When you use a prime lens, the perfect composition can only be achieved by getting the distance exactly right every single time. This means moving your feet to get closer or further away from your subjects, because other than cropping in on the image in post and reducing its quality, there's no way of reframing a shot. This can be tricky if you're trying to capture a spontaneous moment at a distance with a prime. By the time you change to a longer lens or run up close, you could miss the shot. Meanwhile, with a zoom lens, you can simply get closer or further away and set the perfect composition by turning a ring. the advantages of zoom lenses in these scenarios are obvious, and you would need at least 3 primes to cover the whole range of the 16-80 zoom lens. So in summary at the end here, if you're only starting off and completely new to photography / filmmaking, a zoom lens would probably be more useful in terms of versatility, because it covers a wider focal range and it would help you to pick up photography skills faster. For example, you could figure out your favorite look and focal length, but of course there are individual circumstances to consider too. For example, if you're planning to get into landscape photography, most of the times you don't need a fast prime lens because you're likely to keep your aperture closed down to f8 or f11. You would rarely shoot landscape wide open. However, if you're planning to shoot portraits in a controlled environment like a studio, then you're more likely to be happier with a faster prime lens because it's easier to frame the shots perfectly and you would have as much blurry separation as you'd like on demand. Thank you so much guys for watching. This is it for today's video. I want to give a quick shout out to my helpers, because without them these videos would not be possible. They always endure my long editing process and they help me out big time, waiting patiently for me. So give a like, a thumbs up, and a comment down below for my helpers at least, if not for me.